Alright, now we're heading to the meat of the whole thing. This is going to be the video where I discuss spoilers about the film. And if you do not want to be spoiled, please do not watch the video. Watch the spoiler-free review, and then watch the film, and then come here. I don't want to spoil anybody regarding the plot and everything, so I'm starting in advance letting you guys know that once I reach the 30-second mark, there's no going back. Spoilers are abound. You have been warned. Yeah, now let's begin. Now, I had to write a list of topics regarding the film, as well as the many plot points that were there. First and foremost is the main plot itself, and I feel this movie, even though it is a Captain America film, the main central focus is, of course, on the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, since we actually do get to see a lot of different flashbacks relating to him. One of them happened in the beginning, regarding a certain incident. Now, if I were to talk about that, that would be pointless. So basically, the flashback showed Bucky trying to push a car aside and then retrieve some data. Rather, some files. Whatever they are, they led to something that would be much worse later down the line. Not to mention the main villain of this entire film. The main villain is in fact Baron Zemo. Now, Baron Zemo is a Marvel Comics villain, a villain that has been around for quite a while because, well, of his dad. Baron Zemo is actually the name of two supervillains. One of them is Baron Heinrich Zemo, which is the father, and the other, Baron Heinrich Zemo, his son. And both of them have one thing in common: Hydra. Hail Hydra! I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist that, but I have to admit, the villain was just really smart. Baron Zemo wanted to destroy the Avengers, and his motivation was because of the fact that he lost his family. All because of what happened in Sokovia in Age of Ultron. So he enacted this entire plan to get the public into not trusting the Avengers, and in turn turning the Avengers against each other. Now, as far as revenge plots go, it isn't much. But when you look at it from the grand scheme of things, holy crap, it's insane. It's insane because, yes, we're at a point where now superheroes like the Avengers are now being feared because of their powers and what they can do. If you've been watching most of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, such as the Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, as well as the other shows that follow like Jessica Jones, then you see that it's all tying to it together. His motivation was out of revenge because he wanted to make the Avengers pay. And yeah, he lost his entire family, and I could feel bad for him. He's like a sympathetic villain, although his motivations are anything but. Since he wanted information regarding a certain incident, December 16th, 1996, and the only one that has all the answers is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Eventually, we now know. And yeah, I am going to mention this here since it's the spoiler discussion video. Yes, it turns out Bucky Barnes is in fact responsible for the deaths of Tony Stark's parents. When I saw it happen, my mind was blown. I thought they died in an accident or something, like in most other Marvel stories. But when I saw it here, my God, I was horrified. I was shocked. But in reality, Bucky didn't have any idea because remember, he was mind controlled by Hydra to do their bidding. And when Tony found out about it, he was angry, especially at the fact that he lost his mother. With his father, yes, it's understandable because it was a price of war, because Tony Stark's dad, Anthony Stark, was also part of the project regarding the Super Soldier Serum, as well as the one who created Captain America's shield. So, yeah, well, with his mother, an innocent person, I think that was a bit too far, and it kind of drove Tony Stark to want to kill Bucky Barnes. That was nuts, and that, I believe, was the whole big thing, the big fight that happened in the end between the two. This was basically Civil War, the comics, done a lot better. And speaking of Civil War, we also have to talk about the Sokovia Accords, as well as it ties into continuity. The film basically ties a lot of continuity together. Continuity from previous films tying in together. It's like one big puzzle piece, hence why the Marvel Cinematic Universe comprises of 3 phases. Phases 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. Phase 1, you had stuff like the origin stories, and then it led to the Avengers. Phase 2, they had stuff like Age of Ultron, Winter Soldier, and it ended with Ant-Man. Now we reach Phase 3. And everything that has happened has brought fear. Like, the public is now afraid, and the government decides that we can't let them do what they please, so that's what the Sokovia Accords are for. It was meant to keep all the stuff like the Avengers in line. It's sort of similar with the Superhuman Registration Act. However, unlike in the comic where it's just done out of a need, like because of some stupid thing that happened, here in the film it makes a lot more sense. Because innocent people had died because of what the Avengers had done. What the fighting for. Because innocent people, in the end, innocent people suffered. And the Accords were needed to keep in line in case something like this would ever happen again. Basically to keep everyone in check. Now, Tony Stark was in it he joined the Sokovia Accords because he felt that he should take responsibility. Hence why in one scene when he met a woman telling him that his son had died in Sokovia. And it made Tony Stark feel kind of guilty, and they have to at least assume responsibility for their actions. However, Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, feels otherwise, and decided to oppose it. And he wasn't alone, several others were too, which basically led to the Civil War aspect of the film. Hence why the action. Like I said, the continuity was just very good. I like how they tie continuity together. Helps add more dynamic to the film, and it just makes it all the more enjoyable. But the action. Oh boy, the action was just phenomenal. So many action sequences in Civil War that I feel it blew Winter Soldier out of the water. But don't get me wrong, Winter Soldier is one of my favorite Captain America films. It's one of the few trilogies that actually gets better with every sequel. And with Captain America Civil War, the action went up to 11. There were so many fight scenes that were happening all throughout the movie. It was like a thrill ride from start to finish. Made even better when you see it in theaters in 3D and you were just excited. It was just insane. It was incredible. Even the fighting between, whether it be against the Winter Soldier or rather the big battle that happened with two teams, it was nuts. I loved everything about it. The action was just phenomenal. But at times it was also emotional because you don't even know who's right and who's wrong. There's just two teams following two different paths, unaware that they're being manipulated. But don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing, mind you, but I just love the action all throughout. It was insane. It was incredible. And it was just a thrill ride. Like I said, it was a thrill ride from start to finish, and it made things so satisfying. It really was. Not to mention, it made me feel bad for all these heroes because yeah, they don't know if they were in the wrong or in the right. They just follow what they believed in. Hence why the theme of Civil War. One side supports the Accords, the other opposes it. And if they can't agree on it, they have no choice but to fight. Now comes the bit that I feel a lot of you, or rather a lot of us, were really hyped for. Spider-Man appearing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the very first time. And I feel that Spider-Man's portrayal extremely accurate, just like they did with Deadpool. And with Deadpool, he was hilarious. He was an anti-hero that made pop culture references, breaks the fourth wall on a daily basis. It was just funny. Here with Spider-Man, he felt more genuine. Unlike the other previous Spider-Man actors, this Spidey is more accurate. Heck, even his costume ripped straight out of a comic book. It was perfect. This was the Spider-Man that we like. And I remember one scene when Spider-Man said, "Holy shit," and everyone was laughing in the theater. It was satisfying. I loved it. And his fighting was very good. And he made some references to stuff, like one bit with Empire Strikes Back when he took on Ant-Man, who was giant, and came up with the idea of using his weapon to act like a tow cable to take it down, just like an all-terrain assault transport. Pretty clever. I really loved it, and Spidey, I feel, is a welcome addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the end credit scene is proof of that. Yes, there are end credit scenes, and if you are going to go on theaters, you have to make sure to watch them all the way to the end, which is what I did, and it was just so satisfying. I loved it. And it's a reason why you don't want to just jump in and leave after the movie's over. It isn't. It's not over. And I loved it. And I really am looking forward to Spider-Man Homecoming, which comes out 2017, and I will be doing a review on that when it comes. Next up is the Black Panther. Black Panther is just absolutely badass. His costume, badass. Just so awesome. And the fact that the Black Panther does well in a fight was insane. I really love the chase scene that happened between Captain America, Bucky, and Black Panther. It was like a chasing throughout a highway. It was nuts. It was awesome. It was intense. And it just made me feel so hooked. Black Panther, like I said, Black Panther's costume was great. I really loved everything about it. It was just so incredibly well done. And I'm really looking forward to what this solo film has to offer and his role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not to mention him fighting against so many other Marvel heroes was just the icing on the cake. It was satisfying. It was just that good. I don't know if there were any other negative complaints about it, but I felt that all around the film was perfect. I really did love it. Like I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, it was great, but what does it all mean for the rest of Marvel Phase 3? We already have one film down, but there are several others down the line, including Spider-Man Homecoming, Doctor Strange coming out in November, the Black Panther film, which is going to happen later down the line, as well as the Infinity War. I wonder how all these films are going to lead up to the Infinity War, because remember, the Avengers have somehow been disassembled. They've split. They've split because of everything that happened, not to mention Baron Zemo's reasoning for doing it. In the end, he got what was coming to him and he got caught. But now seeing that two sides have split off, one decides to be pro, the other decides to be anti, well, we know for sure that the fight isn't over. But I wonder if the Earth government is going to be aware that it's going to be an even bigger threat. More bigger than Loki, more bigger than Ultron. One that vows to take over not only the Earth, but the entire universe. Yes, Thanos. I'm beginning to wonder how they're going to handle Infinity Wars, and it's going to be split into two parts. One part comes out 2018, the other comes out 2019. It's a two-part film, but I gotta wonder why they gotta make it two parts. And there are several other films down the line, but all I can say is that it's gonna be nuts. What does it mean for the future of Marvel Phase 3? Who knows, but I feel that with the success of Civil War, which I love to death, it's gonna be good. I really mean it's gonna be good. And with Infinity War gonna have the biggest cast of superheroes spanning all throughout the MCU, it's gonna be nuts. I just only hope that Marvel can get the rights to the Fantastic Four so that way they can at least put them in after the crappy failure that Fox did back in 2015. Fox, do us a favor and just give up the rights. Please. You had 3 chances and you screwed it up. Give it to Marvel and they can do a better job at it. So I don't really have much else to say. There wasn't anything negative. Oh yeah, there was something else I should have mentioned. Yeah, Agent Carter passed away in the present, and we actually got to meet her daughter. She actually kicks just as much butt, but I feel that they are adding a bit of romance between her, Peggy's daughter, and I believe Steve. Not that it's a bad thing, but I wish it could be done a lot better because it just came out of the blue. Or it could because of the fact that it reminded Steve of when Peggy Carter back in Captain America First Avenger. Again, tying in the continuity. I don't really have much else to say. I couldn't find anything negative, but without a doubt, it's an awesome film. My spoiler-free review is proof of that. Though this spoiler-filled review is going to be discussing a spoiler. So if you have anything to say regarding the film, if you've already seen it, let me know. Let me know in the comments and we can discuss about it. It's not much of a spoiler-filled discussion, but my only advice I can give you is that you need to watch the film for yourself. You need to watch it, see it, and then you can actually see just how amazing it was. Not to mention, War Machine is now, recovering. Yeah, I have to say that he suffered some serious paralysis injuries, and it was kind of sad. It was sad now that I believe Rhodey has to undergo rehabilitation so he can recover. Hopefully he does in time for Infinity War. But I think maybe they have an Iron Man 4, who knows. So yeah, that's it for my spoiler-filled discussion video. It's not much of a discussion video because the movie was intense, it was good, but it's making me want to answer more questions. I don't really know what's going to happen from here. All I do know is that things are looking up. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. And if you have seen the movie and you want to provide your feedback on it in this spoiler discussion only video, let me know. For anyone that hasn't seen it, you need to make sure you watch it. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this is a spoiler-filled discussion video talking about the film, along with the plot and everything. Yeah, it's nuts. Marvel just blew it out of the water. It makes DC look like pansies. So, yep. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out.